Hey everybody, my name is Mac. I live here in Philly, and I'm going to talk about wine a bunch on this channel. Before I got started on all that, I figured since I'm going to open my first bottle, I might as well do a video on opening wine and how all that piece works, because sometimes it can be a little intimidating. You see people sniffing corks and swirling things around, and Lord knows what they're looking for, right? So let's talk a bit about that initial experience. So I've got a Rioja here. This is the bottle I'm going to open today, and I'm going to need a tool in order to pull that off. There's a bunch of different ones on the market, at least a dozen or so. These are probably the two major ones that I maybe see most often. This is probably the one I grew up with. It's a little bit ungainly though. You got to use two hands, and it's sort of real up high, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these personally. Instead, I'm a big fan of the hinged corkscrew opener. It looks like this one here. You see them sometimes without a hinge. This is actually a pretty good one, but without that hinge, sometimes it can be a little hard to get enough leverage on things. So that this basically gives me two stops on my bottle. So as I'm opening it up, I brace it on that first one first, and then once it gets a little higher, I brace it on the second one for the second one. We'll show you that in a second. All right, and the second thing I look for on these is a little bit of a serrated edge. On this edge, and that just makes it a little bit easier sometimes to cut the top off the bottle. All right, so I'm going to do that now. So you got the piece here that sort of like protects the top of the bottle from getting too dirty, and I'm going to just place my opener right here, spin that around. I've seen people open it from a bunch of different spots. This is a personal preference for me, and then. This one's stuck on here pretty good. If these are loose enough, a lot of times I will just, take it and just slide it right off the top of the bottle. But there we go. So get that flown off. Now you'll want to take a note. If you see something that looks like a bottle cap on top, you'll just screw that off. It's a screw cap, just like it would be like a soda bottle or what have you. All right, so we got that piece down, and then the next thing is to actually open the bottle. Now in this case, you got to look at what color your wine is. If it's a red wine, then usually you'll kind of want to let it sit open for a little while before you drink it. There's a stuff called tannins we're going to talk a ton about, and the tannins a lot of times need time to sort of open up. Also, what you see sometimes is gases that are used in the production of the bottle that make it so that kind of like compresses the flavor, and you need those gases to sort of release before you drink it. So it could be one or the other, but that's generally like with red wines that you'll want to let things sit open for a while. White wines, you're usually okay. So I've got my opener. I'm going to sit on that first stage there, and I have to sit this down. This cork's in there pretty good. Pull it once, and pull it twice, and we have an open bottle. Now, from this point, sometimes you'll be at a restaurant, and the sommelier or whoever, they'll walk up and hand you offer you the cork. And what they're trying to get you to do is look at the branding on the cork there. I'm not sure if I can. There you go. See how it says like the name of the winery there. That's just to like prove that the wine was sort of what they said it was. All right, so we got this bottle, and now we want to let this aerate a little bit. So we can do a couple of things. So you can leave this sit open for a few hours. If you hop on the internet, you can see lots of tools that people offer. You can like pour your wine like either through a special stopper, or they sell these like gadgets. But I'm not a big fan of those, largely because, I'll show you a trick here in a second. I like to use that better. But also, they're kind of a pain in the neck to clean, and I don't like doing dishes. So the other thing you'll see sometimes is a decanter. Oops, went the wrong way. A lot of times you see a decanter looks something like this. You can pour the wine in, it gives it like a giant surface area, and that'll help it air out very quickly. But you can see in my decanter here, I got a lot of like liquid because I literally just washed this. And if you have water in your vessel, you don't want to pour wine in there because wine is acidic and water is not. And so it'll dilute your wine, which is not what you want. Now, if your glass has some wine in it, generally you're okay, as long as you're going from a lighter color wine to a darker color wine. So if you're drinking red wine and want to switch to white, you want to get a new glass or rinse your glass out. But when you rinse it out, give it a little bit of a towel off so that it's dry before you pour the wine in. Next wine. All right, so I'm going to drink the wine. My decanter is wet, so I can't use it. It'll take forever to dry. I don't want to wait an hour to drink this glass, this bottle, and so I'm going to speed decant this wine. All right, so I'm going to get another glass. Actually, I'll just use this one. Get this glass here. This is actually the same wine because I like to drink a lot. All right, so I'm going to take this bottle and I am going to pour out a glass. And what I'm trying to do is get the wine down to about this level here, right? So I'm going to pour a glass out. And then you can see that gives me about that much wine in there. Wine down to the shoulders. And then I'm going to take, I could take the same stopper and pop it back in, but instead I've got this little rubber stopper that I'm going to use. The same basic thing. And then just give it a good shake. If you do this in public, people will look at you funny, but you know, that's just sort of the way this gets handled. Now what you'll notice is you'll get a real firm froth at the top, you know, and sometimes it's interesting to note how frothy that looks. If it's something that's a bit more like a cappuccino, a lot of times I've found that that's like a gas that they use as part of the wine production, and that's the thing you really want to like shake out of the wine. This is a little bit larger fizz, so probably not the case in this wine here. Let me give it a second shake. And you know, you want to slash it around a little bit between shakes, just to help it like push the air out of the wine a little bit. And one more. Now at this point, I'm good to go. I can start drinking this wine. And what you'll notice is that if you take the glass that you poured out and give it a smell, there'd be sort of like subtle notes there, you know, not too smelly. And then, yeah, the wine that you've shook, you'll have a lot more aroma coming off the wine. So at this point, I can take just a basic funnel and pour the wine back in the bottle and pretend that I didn't do all this. And then I'm just like this magical elf who knows how to make wine taste good without shaking it like an idiot. Or I can just, you know, leave this glass out and let it sort of air out in the glass and start pouring glasses from the bottle, whichever works out well for you. Now again, this is all stuff that you worry about with a bottle of white wine. I'm sorry, a bottle of red wine. If you open a bottle of white wine, just go for it. You know, you don't have to wait for the wine or try to air it out. All right, so I think that does me. Any questions? Ask below. If you enjoyed the content, please like or follow, and hopefully I'll see you around the wine world. Talk to you later.